Seahawks fans, hold on to your seats. What if I told you the Seahawks could pull off a move that shakes up the entire offense? A trade that could change everything for MBS and the wide receiver room. You're about to get the inside scoop on the rumors, the possibilities, and what Seattle could do next. And trust me, you don't want to miss a second of this. All right, Seahawks Nation, welcome in. Finally, I made it into the office without Joey Cocky popping up, bragging that his Packers report is doing better than ours. And guess what? For the first time all week, we have more subscribers than the Packers channel. The battle isn't over. It's Thursday. Maybe you're watching this Friday. But the 12s are showing who's really boss. We're keeping this subwar alive all the way through the Seahawks-Packers game on Saturday. I'll make sure to break down the winners and losers next week. But for now, let's focus on Seattle, because things are heating up. Yesterday, a trade went down between the 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs that got me thinking in the shower. Yes, in the shower, multitasking like a champ. Sky Moore got traded from KC to San Francisco. A sixth-round pick went one way, a seventh-round pick went the other, and suddenly I started imagining, what could the Seahawks do with MBS? Could he bring back a similar kind of trade value? Seattle is also bringing in Dalton Risner, and that opens questions. Will the Seahawks sign him? Does he fit into the roster? We'll break that down too. And of course, we'll finish strong with my new favorite segment, Jump on the Bandwagon, Boys. Everyone's welcome. We 12 stick together, and we're rolling into the 2025-26 season with eyes wide open and hearts ready to cheer. Back to the trade rumors. Sky Moore, known for his speed and getting open, got moved for a 6th and 7th round pick. MBS? He shares many of those same traits: speed, quickness, and deep play potential. Yes, Sky Moore is younger, in his early 20s, while MBS is around 30, but that doesn't erase his value. Teams could definitely be interested in MBS if the price is right. Here's the key question for Seattle. MBS isn't doing everything in the offense anymore. Bobo and Derek Young are young, versatile, and making plays. Torrey Horton has taken over the punt and kick return spots. If MBS is only a deep play threat, is he worth keeping on the roster? What would it take to move him? A 6th round pick? 5th round? Or maybe the Seahawks could trade him for a young defensive player to help a battered D-line. Players like Math and Derek Hall have been solid, but depth is needed. Could MBS be the key piece to bring someone else in? Seahawks fans, this is the kind of decision that could shape the season. A roster move here, a trade there, and suddenly the entire offense looks different. And that's why we're breaking it all down, because every pick, every trade, every player matters. Seahawks 12s, I need to hear from you. If Seattle could trade MBS, would you do it? What would you want in return? A draft pick, a defensive player, or something else? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now, and let's debate what's best for our Seahawks. Seahawks fans, let's talk about the next moves, because this is where the roster starts to get really interesting. We weren't part of the Trey Hendrickson trade, but MBS has still found a role on the team. Looking at the wide receiver depth chart right now, it seems like there's room to make a trade without hurting the team too much. MBS is already a backup, so moving him could bring back a pick or even a young player that fills a bigger need. But here's the question for you 12s. What would you trade MBS for? Or maybe you think he needs to stay as Seattle's true deep threat option. I want to hear it. Head down to the comments and drop your thoughts. I read them all, whether nice or brutal, I see it. If you're kind, you might get a heart. If you're mean, well, I might just give a thumbs down, and fair warning, my mom doesn't like mean comments. Now, let's shift gears. Dalton Risner. The Seahawks brought him in for a workout this week, and this is huge. Risner is a veteran interior offensive lineman, primarily a guard. He started in Denver, spent some time in Minnesota, and now he's looking for a spot where he can contribute without grinding through a full training camp. Veterans like Risner know the game, know how to stay healthy, and know when the right time to jump in is, especially when injuries hit in fall camp. And speaking of injuries, Seattle has had some problems along the offensive line. Oluwatimi missed time. Charles Cross is just coming back from a finger injury, and the guard spots have been under scrutiny. Anthony Bradford has stepped up in preseason and earned a starting role, but depth is still a concern. Christian Haynes hasn't quite impressed enough to be the reliable backup that the Seahawks need. That's where Risner comes in. He's a veteran presence who can immediately add depth and stability. If Mike McDaniel and John Schneider don't fully trust the young backups, bringing in someone like Risner makes perfect sense. He's ready to step in if an injury hits, and he's proven he can play at a high level. Teams like the Bengals and Steelers are also eyeing him because their offensive lines need reinforcement, and that shows Risner is still a hot commodity in the league. For Seattle, signing Risner isn't just about filling a spot, it's about insurance, stability, and veteran leadership. With him, the offensive line has a safety net, and the team can focus on getting their younger players ready to perform without worrying about depth too much. Seahawks 12s. I want to hear from you. Should Seattle keep MBS as a deep threat, or trade him for picks or a defensive player? And do you want Dalton Risner signed to add depth to the O-line? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's debate and build the perfect Seahawks roster together. Seahawks Nation, let's get real about the offensive line and backups. If you're the Seahawks and you look at Christian Haynes and think, he's not the guy, then you have to make a move. In my eyes, you stick with the players who got you here, and Anthony Bradford has stepped up big time. He's taken a step forward and shown he can carry this line when called upon. Haynes? He's been serviceable as a backup, but maybe the coaches feel he's just not ready to handle the pressure if injuries hit. That's where Dalton Risner comes in. Don't let a former second-round pick with experience slip through your fingers. If you don't trust the young backups, sign him. Simple as that. This isn't just about a roster spot. It's about protecting your quarterback and keeping the offense strong. A weak offensive line could ruin an entire season. The Seahawks can't afford another subpar year because the line couldn't hold up. Now, let's pivot to something that gets me fired up. My new favorite segment. Media recognition for the Seahawks. Finally, people are seeing what we 12s have known all along. The Seahawks are underrated. Vegas has us as long odds in the NFC West, but the media is starting to notice. Take Colin Cowherd, my personal radio hero. I grew up listening to him in Portland, watching him cover high school sports and local teams. He recently released his Herd Hierarchy, ranking the top 10 NFL teams, and guess what? He had the Seahawks at number 6 in the NFL, the best team in the NFC West. No Lions ahead, no Rams, no 49ers. Just pure respect for our squad. What I love about Colin is that he's fair. He's not a West Coast homer afraid to call out mistakes. He's honest, whether it's the Seahawks, Lakers, or Blazers. He's been critical when our team struggled, but he gives credit where it's due. And after watching Seattle dominate the Chiefs in that preseason matchup, he noticed. Let's break it down. The Seahawks had 477 yards of total offense. The first unit through the air was near perfect. Sam Darnold didn't throw a single incompletion. Kenneth Walker didn't even play. Yet backups like Zach Charbonnet stepped in and scored a touchdown. George Hannay almost hit 50 yards. Damon Martinez? Right around 50 yards. The depth, the talent, the execution, it all looked like a team ready to compete at a high level. Seahawks fans, this is the story. The backups are stepping up. The offense is firing, and the media is finally starting to see it. This team is stacked, underrated, and ready to make noise in 2025. 12s, I need to know, do you agree with Colin Cowherd? Are the Seahawks the best in the NFC West, or is he off the mark? Type Y for yes, and for no in the comments. and let's debate. And while you're at it, tell me which player impressed you most in the Chiefs game, backups included. Seahawks fans, let's talk media recognition because this one is exciting. Colin Cowherd can have some hot takes sometimes, the kind that make you go, wait, what did he just say? But this one? Not out of left field. Colin is jumping on the Seahawks bandwagon, and I love it. He sees what we 12s have known for a while. This team is strong, deep, and ready to compete. But here's the kicker. Another analyst we need to shout out is Daniel Jeremiah. Now, Daniel's not just throwing out bold opinions. He's been in the NFL for years, talks to the smartest minds in scouting and management, and his takes carry serious weight. If Daniel says something, people in the league listen. And here's what he said recently on the Pat McAfee show. Not only are the Seahawks underrated, but he genuinely believes this team can win big when it counts. December, January, playoff time. That's a statement, folks. And now, let's get into something even more exciting. The Seahawks running back room. Daniel Jeremiah shared a take that I actually had a week and a half ago, but it's worth repeating. Everyone knows Kenneth Walker is the #1 back. And yes, he's coming back healthy after some time off. But Zach Charbonnet has been taking reps, showing skill, and proving he's ready to contribute. Jeremiah's take? These two should split carries. Not only does it keep Kenneth Walker fresh and healthy, but Charbonnet's been ready to step up, and he's done just that. Imagine this. A duo backfield that dominates together on Sundays. Kenneth Walker's explosiveness combined with Charbonnet's energy and versatility, a running game that keeps defenses guessing all season long. That's the kind of depth and strategy that makes the Seahawks a real threat in the NFC. So, 12s, if you've stayed with me to the end of this video, congratulations, you're part of the hardcore Seahawks crew. You're seeing the team like I see it, underrated, talented, and ready to shock the league in 2025. This is a team to watch, and the hype is real. Seahawks Nation, I want to hear from you. Do you agree with Daniel Jeremiah's take on the split running back room? Do you think Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet can dominate together? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, give this video a thumbs up, and let's rally together as 12s for a season full of excitement.